The Bible clearly says that Jesus is all-knowing, man. John 16, verse 30 and 31. Look, verse 30. Now we know that you know all things and do not need anyone to question you. This is why we believe that you came from God. Now watch Jesus' response. Do you now believe? You just now figuring this out, he says? How you doing, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Do you remember me?
Slightly. I remember you being here before. Were you on TikTok or here?
Here in YouTube.
Oh, yeah. You're supposed to show me where Jeremiah says he's the first and last, right?
Yeah, it's in, I think, 1:5.
So in Jeremiah 1:5, Jeremiah says he's the first and the last?
He does not say first and the last, but he says that he was appointed prophet of the nation before he was born.
That's what God says. So
before he was born.
Okay. So it doesn't say that he's the first and the last, right?
Yeah.
Got it.
But
so last time you said that Jeremiah does say to be the first and the last. So we see that was actually false. I'm glad that you came back and you can admit that. So now Jesus claims to be God in the Bible when he claims to be the first and the last, right?
Yeah, but Melchizedek also claims to be first and the last. I mean, he has no beginning or end.
I'm gonna give you one chance to be honest. If you're not honest, I would rather talk to myself. Does it say that Melchizedek is the first and the last? Yes or no?
No.
Thank you. So don't lie. Don't lie and say the Bible also says that Melchizedek is the first and last. Thank you so much. Thank you for not lying. So you understand that Jesus, he says explicitly that he is the first and the last, correct?
Yeah.
Is there anybody else in the Bible other than God where the title first and last is applied to them?
No.
So it's pretty clear that Jesus is making a claim to be God, correct?
Yeah.
All right. That's why we believe it. So Bible teaches that Jesus is God, man. So
I have a question, if you can clarify.
Sure.
Yeah, so previously you said that they are equal, but it says the Father is greater than I. So are they equal or greater?
They're equal in one sense, and the Father is greater in another sense. They're equal when it comes to ontology, their nature, their essence. Since they share the same essence, they both are God. They are equal in their essence and nature. Where the Father is greater than Jesus is in his authority, his role. He submits to the Father, right? And so because Jesus takes the form of a servant and humbles himself to the Father is greater in authority than he is. So he's equal in one sense, greater in another.
So they're equal in nature, and he's greater in authority, right? The Father is greater in authority.
Yes, he submits his authority to the Father. Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So the Father, Father has more authority than Jesus.
He submits his authority to the Father. So, yeah.
So if both are God, then how can God submit to God?
Well, when God is multi-personal and one of the persons of the Godhead decides to humble himself before the Father and take on the form of a servant and relinquish that authority to the Father, that's how. He can freely, willfully submit to the Father's authority. It doesn't change his nature. It has no effect on what he is. It doesn't change the fact that he is God, just like the Father is. Just in their roles, he submits.
His human nature submits to God, but his
divine nature. Natures don't do anything. The Son, submits to the Father. Natures don't act. They don't do anything.
So when we are talking about Jesus, we have two natures, right?
That's right.
A divine nature and a man nature, right?
That's right.
So when Jesus submits to the Father, so in both sense he's submitting to the Father, right?
There is no dude. He as a person submits to the Father. Human nature and divine natures don't do anything.
Okay.
Natures don't make decisions. Persons do. Okay? So the person happens to be both divine and human. He, Jesus, submits to the Father.
Okay. So did Father submit to Jesus?
Nope.
Why?
Not his role. That's the role of the Son that the Son took. The Son is the one
I
who's
have a
begotten
question
of the Father.
rather my mind. Like when you said Jesus is Son of God, so Jesus, in which sense you are saying Son of God? I mean,
He shares the same divine essence as the Father. The Father, begets the Son eternally.
so do you mean he's physically the Son of God, or it's just a term of endearment?
Neither. He's the actual Son of God. God is not physical, so he can't be physical Son of God.
So
But
okay,
he is the real Son of God, that he shares the same divine essence as the Father. The Father begets the Son. The Son is brought forth from the Father's essence eternally.
so you are saying he's begotten Son.
That's right. That's what Jesus says.
So can you give me the verse of begotten Son?
Yeah.
Sure, please.
Yep. Give me 1 second. Put it on the screen. Share this tab. All right. Hebrew. All right. Here it is. Thank you guys for the super chats. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys hit the like button, guys. Okay, so talking about the Son. If you want context, we can read the before verses, but just to get you directly to what you asked. For to which of the angels did God ever say, "You are my son, today I've begotten you"? Or again, "I will be to him a father, and he shall be to me a son"?
So is
And
Jesus
again-
only begotten Son, or is Jesus only begotten Son, or there are someone?
Jesus is the only one who's begotten. See,
Okay.
notice how this is applying this to Jesus being the begotten Son of God. This is actually a psalm of David. David is prophesying, speaking prophetically about the Messiah. So yep,
So
Jesus is the only begotten Son. That's what Jesus says himself too. So yep.
So there are no other begotten Son other than Jesus.
Other than Jesus, nope. He's the only one. Thank you so much, Dead Mike, for the super chat. Thank you so much, brother. God bless you.
And which verse is it? Hebrews. In which
This
verse?
is Hebrews. Yeah, this is Hebrews chapter 1, verse 5.
Okay, chapter 1, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Can you open Psalms of David 2:7?
I just said that. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 5 is quoting Psalm 2:7, where David is speaking prophetically about the Messiah.
Okay.
So it's not about David, it's about the Messiah.
Okay. So in Psalms of David, I think David is also begotten Son of God, I think.
Did you hear what I just said, bro?
Yeah.
What did I just say?
You said in Hebrews that David is speaking that Jesus is Son of God.
I'll say it again. I'll say it one last time. It's all right. In Hebrews, it's quoting Psalm. It's quoting David in Psalm 2:7. It applies Psalm 2:7 to Jesus, where David is speaking in Psalm 2:7. So David is prophetically speaking about the Messiah, not himself.
Oh, okay. So that verse is referring to Jesus.
Exactly.
Okay, I understand now. Why are you so angry, man?
No, I'm not angry. I just when I say something, maybe twice, and then you know, like ignore what I say, that part is, could be irritating.
I didn't ignore. I didn't understand. Sometimes it's happened, right?
Sometimes it happens, but sometimes, what I deal with certain people, uh, you know, they do that type of stuff on purpose. They play dumb. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you genuinely didn't understand what I'm saying, what I said, I noticed I didn't accuse you of anything. I explained it again, and you got it. But
Because
that's the
I'm
question.
very
You
younger
got
than
you,
you.
you got to listen so that I don't have to do that over and over again. Please
I
listen.
didn't understand because I'm very younger than you.
Say that again.
I didn't understand because I'm very younger than you.
Because you're younger than me.
Yeah,
You being younger than me has nothing to do with this. With
I'm a
your
16-year
understanding.
old.
That doesn't mean that you can't understand. I was 16 too. I can understand when people say something to me.
There are certain things that are complex. So
Yeah, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But you can listen. Like if you listen to what the person is saying, you won't then immediately say something against what they just said. Like if when I said that Hebrews 1:5 is quoting the Psalm of David in Psalm 2, where he's prophetically talking about Jesus, not about himself. You then, right after I said that, said, I think David is also the begotten son in Psalm 2. When I just addressed that, you know?
okay,
So
sorry.
yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
And I have one more doubt when I'm reading the Bible, and I think it's in Matthew or in Mark, I think, where Jesus said that he didn't know the hour. You know that verse?
Yeah.
I think it is in Mark 13:32, and it's also in Matthew, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why did he didn't know the hour?
Just a question. Have you ever looked into these questions that you are asking me?
Yeah, I have looked up some. I have read that some Christian addressed it to Paul, right? I think it's in Corinthians. I think, yeah, it's in Corinthians. That
Nice.
verse.
So
Uh,
what do you understand from that answer?
so I understand that that Peter, when he said the crucify, that is
To
something
Paul?
like I'm forgetting. Just a second. I'm forgetting
He's,
what he said.
he
It's
said,
just
when I came to you, I
yeah,
decided to know nothing except Jesus and him crucified.
yeah.
What did you understand from the answer that you've seen from Christians give when they relate Jesus using the word no and to the context of how Paul used the word
So
no, word
so
oiden
they
in the
say
Greek?
yeah. So they say that it does not mean that he don't know. He said he declared to not to know. It
And
was
so
he declared
it's
declare. Yeah,
declaring, right? So to make known the hour. It's not that he doesn't know the hour, it's just that it's not for him to declare the hour, nor an angel or a man, right? But for the Father only to declare it.
yeah.
Okay. So, and what do you think of that response?
But I think that both verses are in saying in a different context. I mean, in Corinthians, the answer of the Paul is different than the answer of Jesus, because Jesus didn't say that I didn't declare, but the verse says that he don't know. It does not say that he declared not to know, but it
Yeah.
says he didn't know.
And the verse with Paul, he didn't say that he uh uh decided to only declare Jesus crucified. He said that he didn't know anything except Jesus and him crucified when he came to them. So does that mean that he didn't know anything?
No, he maybe.
So so just like how it doesn't have to say the words declare for you to understand how the word is being used, especially the Greek word oida or oiden, which is the
Yeah.
same word that Jesus is using in Mark 13:32. We see how it's used in a declarative sense.
And can you
Right.
give me the other answer of that? I think there are two answers, I think.
Well, that's the answer that I lean to. That's the answer that I lean to. That it's he's talking about declarative, not ignorance.
Okay. So Jesus knew the hour.
He sure did. Matter of fact, when he's asked this question again in Acts chapter 1, um, they ask him, all right, Is it now? Is the time now, Father? Or I'm sorry, is the time now, Lord, where you will restore the kingdom back to Israel? Right? That's asking about the hour. Jesus says it's not for you to know. And this time it's a different word that he uses for know. Talking about cognitive. It's not for you to know the times and the seasons fixed by the Father's authority. That's Acts chapter 1, verse 7.
Okay.
So he doesn't say it's not for us to know. He doesn't say, remember, guys, I told you, like, I don't know. Why are you asking me this? No, he says it's not for you to know. Times of the seasons fixed. And he uses a different word in the Greek for the word know. So, yeah, he definitely knew.
Okay. So Jesus said that it is not for you to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Acts chapter 1, verse 7. Did you want to
Okay.
see that?
Yeah.
All right, let me try to get there. My Bible Gateway app is tripping. Let me go to my other app. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button, guys. Make sure y'all hitting the like button. Thank you guys for the super chats. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, Acts chapter 1. All right, let's make this bigger. And all right, good. Whoa. All right. So they ask. So when they had come together, they asked him, Lord, will you at this time restore the kingdom to Israel? He said to them, it is not for you to know times or seasons that the Father has fixed by his own authority. All right. Not for us to know. Not I told you I didn't know. It's not for you to know. And it's a different word in the Greek.
Okay.
All right. So that's the answer, man. Watch. And also, hold on, let me just keep this up here. The Bible clearly says that Jesus is all knowing, man. John 16, verse 30 and 31. Look. Verse 30. Now we know that you know all things and do not need anyone to question you. This is why we believe that you came from God. Now watch Jesus' response. Do you now believe? You just now figuring this out, he says. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So he affirms that yes, they're right. But you just now finding that out, you just now believing this? You should have been known this. I've been with you the whole time.
Okay.
All right. So the Bible is clear that Jesus is all knowing. So even in light of that, we know that Jesus is all knowing and definitely isn't speaking of ignorance. So it even helps us, with a clearer interpretation of that.
So why did Jesus say in Mark 13:32 that he don't know? I think the proper word that should be used there, that it should be revealed, right?
I think that revealed would have been a simpler word to use. If you're talking about in our time, in our generation, for them, they understand it. For them, they didn't think that Jesus is saying he doesn't know. Right? They understand it. That's like nobody's thinking that Paul is not saying that he didn't know anything else other than Jesus being crucified. Right? There's other times where the word know is used too. Like, for example, it says, then Adam knew his wife and she bore him children. Now, what does the word know there in that context mean?
What?
So there's another verse that talks about how Adam, it says Adam knew his wife and she bore him children. How's the word know being used there in that context?
He knew.
Yeah, but he already knew her. He already knew her. He's the one who named her. So when it says Adam knew his wife and she bore him children, what does it mean that? What is it? How is it using the word knew? No.
It says.
What do you think?
I don't. Can you tell me? I don't know.
It means that he slept with her.
Okay.
He slept with her, and she got pregnant.
Okay.
That's how it uses the word know in that context. Adam knew his wife. It says the same thing about Abraham. Then Abraham knew Sarah. She bore
Okay.
him Isaac. So
Abraham was
even the word, but the better word to use for us in our understanding would have been, and then Adam, slept with or had intercourse with his wife, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
For us. But if we're reading it in context, we can understand the context and how it's used.
Okay. So in that context you're talking about, right?
Yep.
Okay. That makes a little bit sense.
Here's another way to look at it, bro. Another way to look at it is how Jesus compares his coming to a wedding, a Jewish wedding specifically.
Yeah. I know.
So you've
I know
heard
that.
that, right?
I read it. Yeah.
All right, so you've already heard that. So
Yeah.
it just makes sense. It's for the father to declare, not the bride or the bridegroom. So you get it. You get it.
So how many years you are studying Bible?
Shoot. Studying Bible, man. I'll say I'm 29 now, probably 9 years. I'll say 9 years. Give it
Really?
9-10 years. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Since I was about 18-ish, 19-ish, 20. I think I was like in my 20s is when I really started really seeing stuff, like 2021, 22. That's when I really started like diving in deep and getting really theologically sound, Yeah, I'm 29, haters. What's up? We got Jason over here. He said, make sure to beat that like button lightly, y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like button.
I have more question if you wanna answer.
Yeah, what's your next question?
Yeah, I'm saying that Jesus was tempted by devil, I think, when he was on desert, right?
He was what
tested
by the devil? Oh, tempted.
Jesus was tempted by devil when he was on desert, right?
He tried to tempt him. Yeah, he tried, but he failed. But yes.
But I think he was tempted by devil.
Was he?
Yeah.
Looks like he failed, though, to me.
He was failed.
So what's your question?
So my question is...
The devil tried to, and he failed.
Okay. He was failed.
He failed.
But I think I have written that he was tempted.
So the devil tried to tempt Jesus.
Yeah.
And in his temptation of Jesus, he failed.
Okay.
Here's something interesting about that. Jesus says in that verse, because the devil's trying to tempt Jesus, right?
Yeah.
He says in that verse, this Jesus says to him, he says, it is written, you are not to tempt the Lord your God. So Satan is trying to tempt Jesus. Jesus responds to him by saying, you are not to tempt the Lord your God. Okay. So who is the Lord? Who is Jesus saying is the Lord and God of Satan there?
Himself, maybe.
Himself. That's right.
So I think there are verses in the Bible that the language of the Bible is different. For example, if you see in Bible, it says that, and we have sent Moses as God to the Israel. Are you reading the verse? We have sent Moses as God to the Israel.
To Pharaoh, and Aaron shall be your prophet.
God to Pharaoh. So this type of word used in Bible, right? This is the metaphorical of the Bible.
Oh, well, you see that Moses is not called God, but he is sent as God, and Aaron being his prophet. So he's representing God, and then Aaron being his spokesperson, right? He's not called God there. But Jesus here claims to be God here, and claims to be God everywhere else, not metaphorically.
No, I mean,
he doesn't come as God. He is God.
Yeah, as God.
Yeah, he doesn't come. Jesus doesn't come as God. He is God. That's a big difference. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna let somebody else up, my man. I'm gonna let somebody else up. But thanks for coming. You have more questions, you could come back on the next stream.